This is Julian, and I'm here in Orlando, Florida. And in this video, I'm going to include a segment from last night's seminar. Okay, I ran a seminar on dating, dating advice for men. And I kind of went through my journey from, where I came from to where I am now, okay, and what I had to go through to become, say, successful with women, but also just in life in general. And I kind of linked them to, a lot of quotes from Joseph Campbell, okay, the guy who wrote A Hero's Journey. Great book if you haven't checked it out. That was what inspired George Lucas with the Star Wars storyline. And I just thought I'd kind of just include this segment as I'm sure, similar to A Hero's Journey, where everyone can really relate to that story. You can relate to this. And even though, it's a dating seminar, there is a fuck ton of life advice in it. And I hope you enjoy.
I don't know if you guys follow this, but I highly recommend it. Brian Johnson's Philosopher's Notes. Anyone part of that?
He's a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super sick. If you guys check that out.
Yeah, I need to have knowledge for men too. That shit's good.
Yeah, he's good too. Yeah, Andrew. But anyway, Brian Johnson, he has this website, and I was scrolling through it today, and I think it's like 10 a month or something. But anyway, it's like the cliff notes of all these self-help business health books, if you will. Okay, now you can go about it two ways, like learn to speed read, but if you're just lazy and you don't want to speed read through them, just read the little recap. And anyway, I was like looking through this today, and there was a recap of some of Joseph Campbell's ideas and quotes. And the first quote was basically, follow your bliss. Okay, now this sounds simple. You're like, well, follow your bliss, what the fuck is that? But this is something that I told myself back in the day too, even finding out about this. And the way I live my life and what influenced a lot of the decisions that got me even here today is I really sat down and asked myself, what do I want? Okay, and you'll learn this at first just with success with women in terms of disconnecting from groupthink, from social conditioning. Okay, that's the first thing you realize, like, oh man, a lot of these beliefs I have are just conditioned. A lot of them are wrong. I don't have to go this route that society keeps promoting. I can actually do my own thing. You have control, if you will, over your destiny, let's just say. And you kind of realize that a lot of things people are chasing, you don't actually need. You realize you live in a consumer, culture where everyone's chasing the next little instant gratification hit, if you will. And, we all do this. And be careful of this trap, too. There's probably something right now that you think that's, if you get it, you'll finally be happy. But, and we'll talk about this too, making that shift, from, say, going from internal fulfillment, like that's where you want to, reach, if you will. If you're always chasing the next thing, or if you think something that's outside your grasp will finally make you complete, you're wrong. It'll never, ever make you complete. You'll get it, but then there'll be a new thing, and then a new thing, and a new thing. Most likely in the past, there was something you were fucking chasing. You're like, if I finally got it, I would finally feel happy, and you got it now, and here you still are, You may temporarily feel happy, like a dirty little high, but deep down inside, the only thing that makes you feel happy is that drive of just more, and just doing. It's not the getting, it's the fucking doing. But anyway, me in the beginning, that was huge. And basically, by following your bliss, he means follow your passion, not someone else's. Okay, it's like whatever you're doing, it has to be for you. If you're, even in the dating world, if you're getting, let's just say, going to talk to a girl, a lot of guys, they only want to talk to the girls that their wings find hot. A lot of guys only want to date a girl that their friends would find hot. It's like you don't actually know what you truly want. You just want to fit in, and you're going after what your friends want. Like, really. It's like you may like, say, a girl next door type of girl, but it would be more impressive to your friends if you had like a model, and everyone wants the fucking model. You may go up to a girl even tonight. You go out, you talk to a girl, and let's just say there's not that much chemistry, but she's way hotter than a girl who's a little bit less hot, but with whom you have a lot more chemistry. You're going to go for that one just to seem cooler, because it's what someone else would do. We're always checking again. It's like, am I doing it right? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? In life as well. It's like, what does society tell you to do? What does it really reinforce? And not that there's anything wrong with it, but that's what it tells you to do. Go to school, get good grades, okay? Go to college, ideally, get a good job, get a girlfriend, get married, have kids, get a promotion, get another promotion, and retire and die. You do that, you live the right way. That's what it says. Okay, now again, there's nothing wrong with that if you genuinely want to live that type of life, like at all. If it's coming from a place where a lot of people just love it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to follow the path that most people follow. Totally fine. However, if you're doing it from a place where you think you have to do it, or you're looking for approval and that's the only reason you're doing it, snap out of it. And that was something that even finding out about this really got me aware of. My entire life in Switzerland, it was never like a tough life. It was just a very normal life. I have like normal parents, normal younger sister, normal younger brother. It was never difficult circumstances. However, it was just too normal that it was just bland. Like that was my entire life. Like I hated it. I felt like I was just stuck in Switzerland, stuck in this small town, zero opportunity, and just following the rat wheel of society. It's like, okay, I'm going to school. Okay, I'm doing this. And a lot of the time I was just doing it hoping that people would approve of me, which would then allow me to approve of myself, let's just say. It's like, oh, I'm just doing it because I guess I have to. And the first thing in terms of following your bliss is this is actually not what I want. It's like this is actually the reason I even moved to America back in the day. It's like I don't want to continue this route here. I was in a really good college actually in Switzerland, and I was like, I don't like where I'm going. I was studying business economics, and I don't want to study anything else. Like all the other opportunities that were offered, it's like I wanted more of a life of experience. For me, I always resonated with self-expression. Okay, like even growing up, even with this, like getting into the game, a lot of it was for self-expression. It's like I could never put myself out there growing up, even at I joke about this in some videos where even at a family meal, if you have like a Christmas meal and like cousins come in, grandparents and stuff, I was always the quiet one in the corner. Like I couldn't say a fucking word. And when you're the quiet one too, everyone picks on you. Like not in a mean way, but in a cute way, like, oh, you're awfully quiet today. What's new with you, Julien? And I'd be like, nothing. Like just dreading the Christmas meal, basically. Ridiculous, So for me, even game and being able to go out and like talk to strangers and put myself out there was like a release in terms of self-expression. I found it earlier with music. Like I played guitar since I was 8, and that was one way I could channel it. But this kind of opened the doors, and then building on game, just in terms of life, I realized like shit. It's like this is what I live for. Even what I'm doing now, it's like, what am I doing? Self-expression here, self-expression with girls. It's all just putting myself out there. So I hated the path I was doing, and I wanted to do something else. And following your bliss, like the rule I told myself was like, I'm just going to do whatever I personally want to do, no matter what. I know I have good intentions, and I want to pursue good. And I basically quit university and moved to America. And I didn't have a plan at all. Now, what I'll say to you, listening to this, okay, don't quit university like I did. Okay, like it could have ended horribly for me too. If you're in this dilemma where it's like, this is what I want to do, this is my bliss, but this is what I have to do, just because people want me to do it, but also in order to survive, make the transition in a smarter way. And a book I'd recommend checking out is The Education of Millionaires by Michael Ellsberg. Okay, he kind of talks about making the transition smarter than just quitting and bouncing out. Yeah.
Did you ever have to deal with a strong kind of like fear of the unknown, or it's like, okay, the standard model for your life, it's kind of dull, but there's like this kind of dim light at the end of the tunnel that always is going to be there. Whereas you go this other way, you don't know if there's gonna be a light there. It could be some bright ass light. It could be nothing. You ever feel like you're at risk of being spun off into some kind of like failure, or your life might disintegrate, or might be alienated from your family, and just spun off into not knowing what? I mean, I can imagine making these kind of drastic changes that you made, and we all kind of are confronted with this, right? Because we're kind of taking on a very non-mainstream kind of line of thinking and philosophy in direction in life. I mean, it's something inherently you have to deal with. I'm just wondering, do you have any thoughts on how you were able to kind of deal with that and like?
Oh yeah. No, when I made that transition, like I was already in the game for a bit, and the plus side I got from that is it got me relying a lot more on myself. It's like you realize like you're out there, you better take responsibility. You're going up, you're dealing with how you work emotionally, how to develop willpower, etc. And you realize you can accomplish a lot just on your own. Growing up, I always felt like I was depending on other people, and I needed other people to do something. So you start getting kind of like that self-esteem that kind of builds. I also realized that I've been through all these intense situations just in terms of game and interacting with women. And this is more on a micro scale, but it gave me that confidence, like I can deal with bullshit. And that kind of helped the transition, say, quitting college and moving to America. However, doing that literally did feel like suicide in a way. It was literally like, you ever see that movie Into the Wild? Check it out, like great movie. I saw that and it literally felt like that. It's like the dude has his life and he just throws it all away and just leaves and just kind of like goes into the wild. And just watch the movie, but that's what it felt like. It was literally that move where everyone pictures themselves doing it. Like everyone has that fantasy, I assume, of just dropping everything and just living a life of adventure, if you will. But actually doing it, it literally felt like, what the fuck are you doing? Like it was throwing everything I had away, hoping for something bigger and better, but with the risk of just ending up fucked, like so fucked. It's like I was in the middle basically. I had my whole life planned out. I was in a great college. I could easily just survive and go that route. And what it is, I jumped, and you either end up here or down there. But there is no more middle ground after that. So, and in terms of alienated people, hell yeah. Like my parents were like horrified. You know, it's like my mom cried for months. I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. We're all good now, and we're actually better than ever now. But during that period of time, I mean, even if you put yourself in like my parents' shoes, it's like you have your kid, it's like just fuck it all, and they're like, well, what's your plan? Freestyling in America, and literally, like I didn't even care. Like I had no long-term plan. For me, it was like all I knew is that this would make me feel happy. And if I didn't do this, I would, the same as game, I would regret it for the rest of my life and it would just kill me inside.
Is it kind of like you don't necessarily know what the exact right thing to do is, but you know what the wrong thing to do is, so you kind of move in the opposite direction of what you know is not working?
Yes, yeah. And for me too, is I knew I wanted like experience and doing something that was more self-expressive. So I was into music and I was like, you know what, I could try maybe playing some music over there, just doing something. But all I knew is even if I don't make it, and that's also the way I viewed it, is like, there's a very high chance that I will end up fully fucked and broke and just shit for the rest of my life. However, in terms of following your bliss, I didn't even care if I made it or not because I knew I would be doing the right thing that was true to what I wanted in my values. Now, again, do this in a smart way. But for me, that's what I did. And the plus side of doing it the way I did, and again, think of this whichever way you will, is that it was really burning the boats. If you ever heard that? You know, it's like, I believe it's when they invaded Troy. They arrived on the beach and they burnt all the boats, so there was no going back. It's like you win or you die. And that was kind of, there was no backup. It's like I just burnt it all and took a plane to Los Angeles, and I literally arrived at the airport. I had my guitar, my suitcase, and like $5,000. I was like, here I am. So that was, you know, what I did. And then I just stuck at that and used it as leverage to hustle. Because if you make the jump too, and then you slack off later, you're also really, really fucked. It's like you better be willing to jump and stick on that track till the day you die if you do it.
One thing that I kind of, or that kind of like helps me or kind of reassures me I'm doing like the right thing is that I'll kind of think like, okay, well, this is not the first time I've done something with like kind of an unknown outcome. Like I moved from the Midwest down to Florida by myself and like pretty much broke, and it worked out way better than I ever thought it would, right? It's like every time I feel like I found myself in a situation like that where it's like, I don't know, but this is probably the best thing to do. I know this sucks what I'm doing right now, and just fuck it. It's always, every time worked out better than I thought it would. And so it's, you kind of think back, it's like, all right, well, obviously I'm doing something right here, and you know, I've been taken care of before, and there's no reason to believe that things won't work out again in the future. But it's always, you know, kind of get that anxiety, right? When you're like,
Oh, yeah.
huge shifts, so.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking for myself as well. Is like throughout all the years, even from that move all the way up until now, or let's just say recently, there was always little bits of like scary situations, shitty situations. But I'm like, fuck, every time it works out, baby. And then the big one too, that kind of made me doubt it, but also reinforced in a way, was when the whole like media shit hit. That was the one where it's like everything kind of exploded, and like literally everything around me just crumbled. And that was the one where I was like, fuck, man, maybe not this time.
How did you stay positive to that? How did you stay positive to that?
Oh, dude, well, for me, I kind of just surrendered to, well, a few things happened. I surrendered to my mind because there were many things happening. It was like the whole thing was happening, but there was also, you ever see that show House of Cards? Yeah. It was a full House of Cards, like 3-4 months of my life, where there was all the power plays happening with, say, PR guys, the news stuff, within the company, with the customers, with my brand, with the world, with governments, with it was like everything. And it was literally like, surrender to your mind, trust in your faculties, and hope that the situation would arise. So it was like navigating through that. It was like a House of Cards, 20 episodes, 20 seasons of a House of Cards. And also just not really letting my emotions overwhelm me. It's like the way it kind of works is it happens, and you don't really realize it's happening. You're just like, okay, how do I navigate through this? And then once it's done, then it just hits you massively. So it more so hit me after. But for me, that one there was like, shit, like this may be fucked, but staying true to those beliefs, like it's gonna work out. And actually, one of the quotes from Joseph Campbell as well, he says, love your fate, if you will. And it's like, whatever happens, say this is what I need, and just fully, it's like this is what it sounds kind of hippie-ish and woo-ish, like this is what the universe, this is what I need, and there is something to take out of it. And linking this to, and I made a video about this a couple of days ago, Jack Canfield talks about it, where he's like, a lot of people blame the different events or stuff that happens to them, but in reality, what you should blame is your response to those events, if you will. So that could have gone both ways too. It's like the thing happens, and I could freak out, be like, why is this happening? This sucks. Just let it, or feel victimized, and then you're done. Or, okay, what is there to take out of this in terms of learning, just in general, in terms of learning about myself? How can I move it? How can I keep moving up, if you will? So that was also a muscle I built with time. But linking this back to the follow your bliss, I mean, what I'd recommend to you is like, ask yourself, what is, even as David Data says, like, what's your purpose? Like, what do you want? What do you want with women? What do you want out of life? Okay, and then stick to that no matter what, and don't try to do either what someone else does. That's a big one, because you understand, okay, I'm going to snap out of what society tells me to do, but then you find others, say, role models. Like, you may even be hearing me talk about this, you're like, oh, I want to do what he did then. And then you kind of base on someone else. But you got to be like, fuck that. What are you going to do? And this is actually another awesome quote as well, where he says, where there is a way or a path, it's someone else's path. So that too, it's like, get used to the fucking unknown. Don't look for the easy way to do it, because if there is an easy way, or if you know how to do it, someone else already fucking did it. So venture off into the fucking unknown. Embrace that feeling. That feeling of just like kind of jumping, like even approaching something, you're like, ugh, I don't know what will happen. That's how you should live your life. I mean, of course, be smart about it. Don't just put yourself in retarded situations. But that's literally how I live my life. Like even now, it's like, I don't even know what's gonna happen like years from now. No idea. And get used to it. Because guess what? You're living in the unknown every fucking second. You could die any second. Literally, you could walk out this building, get hit by a car, and you're dead.
There's a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy there too.
Yeah, do not be thinking about this every day. We're like, the car's coming, the car's coming, the car's like, with the unknown too, find that exciting. That's what I'd say is like his quote is, nothing is exciting if you know what the outcome is going to be. If you already know what's going to happen, if you do this, you're going to get bored as fuck. Even in an interaction with a girl, the fact that this is still motivating and captivating, even to me, like I've been in this 8.5 years, it's the fact that every interaction is unique. Every girl you talk to, depending on who she is, it's gonna be unique. It's not like this robotic, like I say this and this happens, I do this and this happens. If that was the case, it'd be so fucking boring and all of us would be done with game like that. Like trust me, it's like the same fucking video game where it's like, you do this, you do, like, you can only play it so many times before you're bored with it. So embrace that with life as well. Here it's like what he says too is what you don't experience positively, you will experience negatively. And this is when you're faced with it, you can either do it or you can face the mental torment of it, of not doing it. And this is big also just in terms of, say, approaching a girl. The reason it's so hard for guys, or you go home and you go out and it's so mentally exhausting, or you end up very negative and it's just not fun, is because you're dealing with this mental torment. You see a girl, Should I open? Should I not open? And then you fucking debate it. You're like, come on, man, you can do this. No, but this. Oh, come on. You told yourself you could do this. Come on, she's not. Okay, next girl. Okay, this girl. That back and forth torment kills you. That's so exhausting versus just, hey. That's all you have to do. Hey. And the mental torment is gone, you know? So keep that in mind as well. This is a big one too. The old skin has to shed before the new one can come. Okay, if you want resurrection, you must have crucifixion. Again, it's not my quotes. You know, we must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. And this is big just in terms of letting go of your identity. One thing I did is I was willing to let go of it all. You know, you can't keep being the person you are here today if you want to be someone else. Okay, and I'm not saying be someone else different. I mean, expand upon who you are here today. Okay, if you ever hear me say change who you are, it's more so transcend who you are. You're this person, you want to be the better you got to let go of this person. And people are just so attached. And this is hard to do because guess what? You've spent your entire life being this person. And this is why game is so hard. Because it's not just about the girls, it's about becoming a guy who's attractive to girls. And you have to let go of every piece of your identity, every assumption, or almost every assumption you've made about the world, your map of interpretation of reality, all that has to go. And it is literally like that suicide feeling of just jumping into the unknown. You have to be a little crazy to do this in a way. So there's that. And what I always say is take on an adaptable, and flexible identity. It's like there is no you, if you really think about it. I mean, of course, there's probably some core version of who you are, but a lot of who you are as well is, guess what, a victim of circumstances. If this is you here, maybe if you had like a different life, and it's the same you thrown in a different life growing up with, say, different feedback. You try something new, maybe in your life here, they're like, don't do that. Say in the other life, you do something new, high five, keep doing that. You'd be very different here today. And what people do is they build an identity around who they are here today, and they're attached to it. I'm the shy guy. I'm just the guy who's very logical. I'm just the guy who's very negative. I'm the victim. I'm this. Let go of it.